family.
Okay.
Yes. And we are planning to verify that as well. When the process Department of Defense has a web service for which we can make a call to verify the status of the individual. So we are accounting for that. Any other questions on Portal 21? For Portal 22, pending sanctions, the issue was if a customer has a pending sanction, should we allow them to renew or replace their current license online? If so, should we establish a time frame to prevent them from purchasing a license right before the suspension goes into effect? Hello? So in the meeting, Boyd and Deb agreed to allow the issuance but make the cutoff point 10 days prior to the sanction effective date. We have to make certain the customer is made aware and it's very clear that they have a pending sanction. 10 days out should avoid us having to credit back money since the license should be printed within 10 days of the purchase. If within 10 days, we would provide a message, you must visit an office to renew or replace your license. There is one exception to the rule. If it's a CDL med cert disqualification, no CDL issuance would be allowed if pending. The option would be to downgrade to a Class E at no cost if applicable, and med cert disqualifications prevent the CDL driver from driving a CMV once placed on the record. So that particular one, I think we haven't gotten a board decision back on that, but are there any concerns from the advisory board? Okay, Portal 23, minor ID cards. The question was raised, do we want a 5 to 14-year-old to be able to renew their ID card online, or should they have to go in person? Currently, we only allow 8-year ID card renewals online, not 4-year-old ID cards for those under the age of 15. In a discussion with Alan Buzenbarg, he said, okay, renewal.
Is that the only flag that would give them the discount, or will it ask anyone that has a school bus and passenger endorsement on their record?
They do have, right, there is another, we will be able to tell by the endorsements, but others have that endorsement that are not school bus drivers, so we couldn't just key in on the endorsements. But the endorsement is a requirement as well as the indicator.
Good, okay.
Thanks. Renewal 02, customer stops. As part of the renewal notice and on the notices themselves, we were being, one of the requirements were that we provide more information to the customer to alert them that they have issues on their, either with their registrations or maybe a customer stop or things of that nature. And the question was asked, currently, I think there was a statute change to allow a customer stop for a bad check to prevent future transactions for the customer. However, the department's policy has not been changed. Will there be a change to the department's policy to reflect the change to the statute? So I think before the customer stopped, if they wrote the check for a motor vehicle transaction, it stopped the motor vehicle, but it didn't stop the driver's license side. And so that I think the statute was changed to say we could stop either. But I think it was Alyssa that brought it to our attention that we hadn't enforced that yet. And I don't know if part of that enforcement was with us moving to the new, what's the system? Bad check system that's kind of been in limbo. I don't know if that's why we hadn't enforced it and we didn't want to, we were waiting for that to be put into production or and not make those changes in the existing bad check system, or I don't know where we are with that.
And I was not involved in the discussions with the ISF project. It's fish funds. That was stopped before I ever even moved to DAS. But then I know we also had a study we had to do from an age.
There's a stop, because by the time they send it into us, then it's to send a refund back or delay the processing. But if they knew up front, they're not going to be able to get their registration until it's cleared, it definitely would help.
Okay. So you're okay with us notifying them on the renewal notices as far as the enforcement piece? We'll have to deal with that in the new insufficient funds system. Okay. That's fine.
And I have one action item for, that was listed for BL 15. Linda, you said you would go to the tax collectors and
with me and to develop the plan. And great news, it was due on the 16th. Kim actually submitted it yesterday, so we are a little bit ahead of schedule. So thank you, Kim. And other activities I want to point out that the name for the driver license and eventually registration, vehicle registration information system is going to be Orion. We are going to have an unveiling ceremony with the new approved logo next month. Once the date has been decided, we will send you a save the date so that you can reserve that time on your calendar. Kim is going to help me with that also, of course. There have been a number of working sessions that we have completed since the last time we met. Specifically, this is under number 3 on the other activities, September 28th. The ESC had an ad hoc meeting with us to go over the stakeholder register and the key messages. We worked some more on that with the Chief of Staff on October 1st and then presented the draft to that point to OMM project leadership, including Kristen and Terrence, and Wendy was in that meeting as project manager also, I believe, on October 2nd. We also talked about the communications draft plan, the activities and tools that we're planning at that time. Another important element of the organizational change management / communications efforts are going to be the web page. So we're in the process of beginning to plan out that forward-facing web page and taking a look at all the existing SharePoint, PartnerNet, legislative, any page, including the advisory board page, which you guys are familiar with, to begin to draw all those elements together to have a comprehensive web presence for the Office of Motorist Modernization. A few preliminary recommendations were that we needed a centralized email accounts for feedback. So that's actually in progress now. Once we have it, of course, I'll provide it to the advisory as needed. And we are going to begin developing a media-ready one-sheet with the fundamental information about the program, basically. And this is also going to be information that's reflected in many other comms or communications.
We're going to make it a big, grand shindig and just make it a fun time. So we're really looking forward to that. Lots of good, great things coming down the pike. So building up our presence, just really getting everybody on board with the program is a big, major component of organizational change management. So we hope that, by implementing all these things, everybody will be on board. They will be bought into this program, and it will be a huge success. So thank you to Samadi and Kim and Matt for all that you've managed to accomplish in such a short period of time. And we're just looking forward to see what comes out of it.
Thank you, everyone. It's team effort.
One of the other things that somebody has been helping us with is with the focus groups. So we have established a couple of focus groups with some of the partner agencies, FDLE, Department of State. We had a meeting with the Department of State just this week.
Actually stated that they went and sat in at a tax collector's office, I guess, and observed them actually doing the entering in the information. One of their concerns, or that even if it isn't an error, the users are just to the point where they ignore it every time and keep going, because they say they get it 100% of the time. So that's something we've taken away. Natasha and her group is going to look into it. They're going to provide us some examples. Also using the most recent version. So we're currently working with them to try to clean up and try to make the data that we're providing them this
Meeting, we're getting a cadence going with them, and so we have regular agenda items that we bring to the table. They're really using it as a focus group at this point, so good
Can I
group,
make
good
a comment
conversation.
on that?
Yes.
As a user, I mean, I'm on the front counter with that. We do typically ignore that. Some problem that's in there that's kicking all the addresses out.
Correct. And we're hoping we can, working with them and them giving us some examples, because we weren't sure if we just weren't interpreting the results correctly and just sending back the wrong message, because they actually said they ran the data through their system and it didn't flag it as an error. So we're looking into it.
I'm excited about that because I do feel like it's a waste of time unless it's working.
Agree.
Well, I just want to go on record to say that we're through our agenda early. So I guess from this point forward, we can blame Terrence for
That's what you
whenever
say.
we go. But are there any other questions, comments, good for the order? Topics?
I do have an email out to tax collectors in regards to the transcripts that were discussed again last month.
Okay.
And I've not gotten back a full result, so I'd like to wait until next month's meeting to give an answer to that as well.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, anything else? Okay, our next meeting is November 10th from 1 to 3 p.m. Thank you very much.